Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We like to get into the nitty-gritty here, and today we're looking at a situation that's got everyone talking, right?
Absolutely.
The Arakan Army, Myanmar, a fight for independence.
Yeah, a really fascinating development over the past few months.
Definitely fascinating, and for anyone out there studying for the UPSC exams, pay attention. This kind of event, well, let's just say it's the kind of thing that could really pop up on those tests. It's a big deal. So to kick things off, let me just say the Arakan Army, they are not messing around. I mean, they've basically taken control of almost all of Rakhine State in Myanmar, which is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, it is. It was pretty much unthinkable just a few months ago, but here we are.
So how much are we talking here exactly? Like how much of Rakhine State is under their control?
Well, the latest reports indicate they've got a grip on 15 out of the 18 townships.
15 out of 18.
Pretty much.
Wow, so they're really close to having complete control then, aren't they?
They are, but there are still a few key areas that are outside their grasp.
Ah, so it's not a total victory just yet. Okay, so which areas are we talking about? What makes these areas so important?
The big ones are Sittwe, Kyaukphyu, and Munung.
And what's the deal with those places? Why are they so significant?
Well, Seatway is home to a major port, a strategically important one that's being developed with a lot of investment from India. Then you've got Kyaukphyu, which is another strategically crucial port. This one's a deep sea port, and it's a major piece of China's Belt and Road Initiative.
Oh, wow. So we've got both India and China involved here. This is getting interesting.
Yeah, and then there's Munong. It doesn't have the same economic weight as the ports, but it holds a lot of historical and cultural significance for the Arakanese people.
I see. So controlling these remaining townships, it's not just about strategic positioning, it's about symbolism too, right? Sending a message.
Exactly. It's about legitimacy, showing the world that they're capable of governing, of establishing a truly independent Arakan state.
That's a great point. And it's not just about military might, is it? The Arakan army, they're playing a very smart game, especially when it comes to diplomacy.
Right. They're really thinking long term, trying to position themselves for success on the international stage. I mean, just look at the statement they issued.
Why was that?
It was aimed directly at China and India. They basically assured them that any investments in Rakhine State would be safe and sound, even under their rule.
Really? They came right out and said that. Bold move.
And they publish it in Chinese, no less.
Wow. Talk about knowing your audience. They're clearly trying to gain recognition, show they're serious players on the world stage. I mean, it's almost like they're laying the groundwork for an independent state.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? There are also reports of covert meetings with security officials from both India and China.
Covert meetings, huh? Sounds like something out of a spy novel.
Definitely adds another layer of intrigue to the whole situation. It suggests they're actively seeking support from major powers.
So they're winning battles on the ground, making diplomatic moves. It's all very impressive. But let's be honest. What are the chances they actually achieve independence? Is it even realistic?
Well, it's certainly a long shot, but history has taught us to never say never.
True enough, history is full of surprises.
Look, if we want to understand the potential outcomes here, we got to look back at historical precedents.
Okay, so where should we look?
Bangladesh in 1971, that's a pretty good parallel. They fought for independence from Pakistan, and a big factor in their success was the international support they rallied.
Right, they had powerful allies backing them up.
Exactly. So for the Iraqi army, the question is, can they garner that same level of support?
That's the big question, isn't it? What do they need to do to convince the international community to take them seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just about issuing statements and having secret meetings. It's about proving they can govern, right?
Absolutely. It's about demonstrating stability, ensuring security, and protecting the interests of those who are invested in the region.
So what do you think their next move will be? Do they go all in for those last 3 townships? Or do they play it safe and wait to see how the international community reacts?
It's a tough call. They could go for a full-blown offensive to seize those remaining territories.
Yeah.
That would certainly make a statement.
But it could also backfire, right? I mean, what if it pushes China and India away? Or provokes a harsh response from the junta?
Exactly. There's a lot of risk involved. A military victory doesn't necessarily equal a lasting peace. They need to be careful not to alienate potential allies.
Okay, so what's the alternative? What if they don't go on the offensive?
Well, they could focus on consolidating their control over the areas they already hold. build up their administrative capacity, their institutions, their legal system, prove they can govern effectively.
And while they're doing that, keep working the diplomatic channels, right?
Exactly. Build relationships, strengthen ties with key players. It's a delicate balancing act.
I can imagine. And somewhere in all of this, there's the possibility of negotiation, right?
Right. A negotiated settlement with the Myanmar government could be an option.
But wouldn't that mean giving up on the dream of full independence?
Not necessarily. It could involve some form of federal autonomy. Think of it like a state within a larger country with a significant degree of self-governance.
So they'd have control over their internal affairs, things like education, healthcare, law enforcement.
Exactly. They'd have their own legislature, maybe their own police force, but they'd still be part of Myanmar, at least in name.
That's an interesting possibility. I mean, it might not be the complete independence they're aiming for, but it would give them a level of self-determination they've never had before.
Right. It could be a compromise, a step towards a more peaceful and stable future for the region.
And of course, we can't talk about Arakan without talking about the people themselves. What do they want? I mean, it's their lives, their future that's on the line here.
It's crucial to understand the historical context here. The Arakanese people, they've been fighting for self-determination for decades. They've faced a lot of oppression under Burmese rule. They want their own identity, their own culture, their own destiny.
It's a powerful yearning, isn't it? The desire for self-determination. But it's not just about aspirations. There are some serious challenges ahead, aren't there?
Absolutely. We're talking about state building here, creating a functioning government, a stable economy, a just legal system. It's a monumental task.
And let's not forget the Rohingya crisis. That's added a whole other layer of complexity to the region.
That's right. The issue of the Rohingya people, their displacement, their persecution, it's a humanitarian crisis. And it's something that the Arakan army will need to address very carefully.
They'll need to find ways to foster reconciliation, to ensure the rights of all communities within Arakan.
Absolutely. It's essential for a peaceful and prosperous future.
So, with all these factors in play, it's clear this situation is anything but simple. There are so many potential outcomes, so many possible paths forward. But if you had to make a prediction, what do you think is the most likely scenario? What's your expert take?
Honestly, it's impossible to say with any certainty. There are just too many variables at play. The Arakan army's military capabilities, the junta's willingness to negotiate, the level of international support they can garner, and of course, the will of the Arakanese people themselves. These are all crucial factors.
It's a real nail-biter, isn't it? It's like watching a political thriller unfold in real time. Military victories, diplomatic maneuvers, geopolitical power plays, it's all there. And for those of you following along, especially our UPSC aspirants, this is a story that could have huge implications, not just for Myanmar, but for the whole region. This could be a pivotal moment in Southeast Asian history.
It could indeed.
So as always, we encourage you to do your own research, stay informed, and form your own opinions. This is just a starting point, a glimpse into a very complex situation.
And keep in mind, things are changing rapidly. What's true today might be different tomorrow.
Exactly. So stay tuned, keep your ears open, and keep those brains engaged. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. We'll be back soon with more deep dives into the issues that matter. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going.
See you next time.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.